South Africa's economic growth performance has slipped very sharply over the past decade. In the years between 2004 and 2007, the economy was averaging a growth rate of 5%. That fell in the aftermath of the ANC's Polokwane Leadership Conference, followed by the global financial crisis 18 months later, and South Africa's economic growth rate has been whittled down over the past decade to last year's figure of just 0.3%, and technically now South Africa is sitting in recession, with the last quarter of 2016 and the first quarter of this year both having shown negative rates of growth. Against that context, we've produced a report on levels of fixed investment in South Africa. And by studying the fixed investment trend, you absolutely see why the growth rate has slumped as quickly as it has. Levels of gross fixed capital formation, which is a measure of fixed investment, were increasing year on year at rates of over 10% in the run-up to 2007 and into 2008. Subsequently, rates of fixed investment have fallen right through the floor. Another trend that we see is that private investment as a proportion of total investment, the balance being government investment in fixed assets and the like, reached a peak point after 1994 of about 74% of all fixed investment going into the economy. That has fallen now to just 60%. The slack has been taken up by the state sector, but forecast growth rates, economic growth rates out of Treasury for this year and future years are undoubtedly too high. That means that revenue collection projections are going to undershoot. The state's fiscal deficit, the extent to which it's running out of money, will be a more serious problem than is being anticipated by many analysts, and including those within Treasury. The result is that the state's ability to continue holding the line on fixed investment into the South African economy is going to come under greater and greater pressure, particularly as the pressure to move from capital expenditure, that fixed investment, to current expenditures, social grants, salaries in the civil service, and so on builds. The upshot of all of this is that the report we put out this week anticipates that South Africa's fixed investment levels as a proportion of GDP are going to slip into the short and medium term, and that, as much as any other trend, will continue to underpin South Africa's very low economic growth rates.